think it says a lot about marketing and product development as much as anything, because it could be AI or it could be anything. But when you make giant promises, you rush to market to be first, and you deliver a half-baked product that significantly under-delivers on all of the promises that you made, or most of them, then you're going to get killed in the market, right? The people are not stupid long term. We're all a little stupid short term from time to time. Like, I gotta have it. It's cool, the new iPhone. But even with the new, I'm gonna broaden this just a hair to Apple, because I'm not sure what's gonna happen with them. They're generally brilliant, but they really need another good product. Hey everybody, this is Roland Frazier and Ryan Deiss with another episode of Business Lunch. We were just getting technical things taken care of there. I have this little trackpad that is wireless, and somehow I always put it in a place where whenever I put my hands down, I hit stop record, and then we have to start again. So I was getting that panically out of the way as the countdown was going. But welcome to the podcast, and Ryan, welcome to this is as we're recording this, Memorial Day, right?
Yeah, technically a holiday, and here we are. I don't know why. So I don't like to do vacation-y stuff on actual holidays because every place I want to go is crowded.
It's
the
so
worst.
crowded. Live
It's
off
the worst.
peak. Best advice I ever got was reading a book that said live off peak. And I was like, don't go to work and come home from work with the masses. Don't go to Valentine's Day dinner on Valentine's Day. Now sometimes you have to do that, but figure out a way around it. But
I will say it is harder when you have kids in school because so much of peak is defined by that. But
they are peak. They are the peak we seek to avoid.
They are the peak. Yeah. They ruin everything. But no, now that we're on the other side of school is over. We can start living our best off peak life. And so yeah, we're going out of town next week. This week it's like I can actually get some work done. So but given this Memorial Day, I still want to honor all of our heroes out there, those who fought and died for us in American wars. But also happy to not be out there with the masses battling whatever holiday adventure I know people are doing. Just even driving around yesterday during a holiday weekend, it was impossible. So
yeah. We stay in. I smelled the burgers as I was walking around, though. That was kind of fun. I was going for a walk around the neighborhood, and it was definitely a bunch of cars, burgers, a bunch of cars, burgers. It was like very clear what was happening.
Yes.
Well, that all said, you had something interesting you wanted to chat about today, so let's hop into it.
Yeah, I want to get your take on all these different AI gadgets because I know you're very AI-rific. I know you're on the top of a lot of these things, and there's been a couple of gadgets that have come onto the market, and these are essentially hardware that are powered by AI. Like, so the AI is like the files are in the computer. Like in this case, like the AI is in the machine. It's in the box. And so the two most notable is the Humane AI pen, which I believe you told me about when they first published their launch video. And then the other one is the Rabbit R1. And so both of these are designed to be AI assistants that either clip to you or that you would carry around. I know for the Humane, it's got a little, it's a pen that magnetically attaches to whatever your clothing is. And so it's looking at the world around you, and it's supposed to be giving you feedback on that. It's got this kind of very cool projectory thing that would project onto your hand so that, because there's no other user interface that, really to speak of. The Rabbit is this kind of cute orange box that supposedly is an AI, assistant. But basically, the punchline is these devices are getting some of the worst reviews of any new technology device that I've seen, and that is saying something. So in looking at the Rabbit, barely reviewable, somehow worse, an unfinished, unhelpful AI gadget. This device won't replace anything, a half-baked device that isn't living up to the promise. So those are some of the headlines of the reviews for the Rabbit R1. Then you've got the Humane pen, which somehow the reviews for this one were even worse, even though I think the technology is cooler. Marquez Brownlee said, the worst product I've ever reviewed. This is probably one of the most powerful tech reviewers, has declared the Humane AI pen the worst product he's ever reviewed. not even close, a case study in poor strategy and poorly designed features. It just they're just getting panned left and right. So I want to know from your perspective. I don't know if you've used any of these devices. You're oftentimes quick to jump on some of these and try them out just for funsies. What do you think this says about AI devices and AI powered tech and hardware?
I think it says a lot about marketing and product development, but as much as anything, because it could be AI or it could be anything. But when you make giant promises, you rush to market to be first, and you deliver a half baked product that significantly under delivers on all of the promises that you made, or most of them, then you're going to get killed in the market, right? The people are not stupid long term. We're all a little stupid short term from time to time. Like, I gotta have it. It's cool, the new iPhone. But even with the new, I'm gonna broaden this just a hair to Apple, because I'm not sure what's going to happen with them. They're generally brilliant, but they really need another good product to get to the next level. I think they'll be fine as a company. They'll be valuable and everything. But like, what really made them was iPod, iPhone, and iPad, right? I mean, that really, and then the services that they were able to sell on the back of all those, in terms of devices, anyway. So I didn't buy either of them because I don't want another thing I have to carry everywhere. I already have my thing that's the iPhone. So I feel like these guys are going to have to dislodge the one thing that people are all carrying around now, because we're not looking to be Batman, with a utility belt full of gadgets. And we're not, I've already got this hand is already taken up with this thing, which I pretty much take everywhere, right? So if this needs to do whatever it is those things are doing, and as
Just
I
for
read,
those listening, by the way, on the podcast, this thing he's referring to, he's holding up his iPhone, because
yeah,
when you just simply hear that this hand is taken up with something and you take it everywhere with you, let's
yeah,
just say inappropriate minds could go to weird places. So in this case, left hand is taken up with his iPhone.
yeah, like
Keep going.
it's not a pencil. Those of you who are like, it's a pencil, and it's not a pencil. Okay, I don't carry writing implements. So, yeah, thank you, Ryan, for pointing that out. But but here's the deal. So, number one, I think that there it is not an enhanced. Let's get another gadget for people to carry any more than anybody wants to pay for another cable subscription. But the cable subscription you don't have to carry around with you, right, all the time. This is literally another physical thing to weigh you down, to keep track of, to be charged, etc. And we've already got on our wrist the iWatch, if we wanted to get, or the Apple Watch, if we wanted to get like that next level of thing. And we've got the iPhone, or those of you who have Androids have whatever that does. But that's kind of, I guess it's a game of dislodgement to me. It's a game of replacement, not enhancement, number one. And then number two, the things that I saw that were promised by the Rabbit was basically like the stuff that Apple, stops you from doing. And I think one of the reasons it did so well was just the hype of AI, which, as a product developer in the AI instruction place, I can tell you that that curve is definitely down from when these things were super hot. And I don't think that everybody's afraid of getting left behind with an AI gadget now. They also had really cool design on the Rabbit by a company called Teenage Engineering, which makes all kinds of cool stuff. A lot of musical instruments that I've got are Teenage Engineering, and they come out with things that are like completely impractical, but yeah, that's cool. I want one of those. And I think that helped because they have a huge following, and in the industrial design world. But man, it's just it's got to be. I feel like you'd have a lot better chance with the pin than you would with the Rabbit, just from a ergonomics standpoint. But yeah, it's got to deliver, and it's got to deliver at least as well as it's promised, or you get killed. And the last two things I want to say before I'll shut up is, I think also in terms of like what people are unhappy with is that they spent the money on it and it's not everything they wanted it to be. It's not radically changing or improving their lives in addition to the stuff that's just messed up, right? Because the messed up stuff can be fixed in firmware, usually in follow-ups and software. And people who love a brand will be patient with it, but neither of these brands had any built-in credibility or patience, like no social credibility they built up in the years before. But even Apple, I see, is having a challenge with the new iPad, which is the thinnest one we've ever done and faster. And we skipped a whole generation of chips and all that. And I got to tell you, and I'm curious for you, I looked at it and I went through to build one online, and it was $2,800. And I looked at the one that I've got and I was like, yeah, I think I'm pretty good. It's like, it's not going to be something that improves my life significantly. And I read a lot of articles from people that said, yeah, I started looking at it and it's like, man, those things are really computer prices these days. And so I think that also impacts this, that as we see interest rates are up and it seems like maybe finally the whole world is saying, gosh, everything's twice as much as it was just a couple of years ago. And my income isn't, and I don't have any free money from governments. What am I going to do? I'm going to have to spend less. So I'm going to be more careful on the decisions that I'm making and not spend on these things. So that was a way broader, I think, answer than maybe you wanted to talk about, but I'd love to get your take on all that, and I'll be quiet.